sometimes the same truths that are accessible by natural reason or unaided reason, but they believe that in addition to revelation, there are truths that can be known even by the Gentiles who don't have the law of Moses, even by those who don't have revelation, and that we know them by our intellectual operations, by our experiencing and understanding and deliberating and judging what is right and what is wrong. Now, as Christians, we believe that not only is the will weakened by the fall, by original sin, but the intellect is darkened. So we're very grateful for divine revelation, which sheds an enormous, beautiful light, even on truths that are in principle knowable by unaided reason. But even though we understand that the intellect has been darkened by sin, we also recognize, as Paul points out, that it is possible to know a great deal about the moral life, about right and wrong, even apart from revelation. And our reasoning about natural law also helps us to understand God's revelation in Scripture where it might otherwise be either inherently or in the circumstances we happen to be in a particular culture at a particular time, obscure. I'll give you an example. In Genesis 2, we're told about marriage, the first and most important thing we learn about marriage. And it is that the man shall leave his mother and the woman her home, and the two shall cleave together and become one flesh. Now, in a society like ours, absent philosophical reflection, absent natural law thinking, one could easily fall into the error of supposing that what Scripture there is proposing, what the authors of Scripture are proposing, what God is teaching us, is that marriage is an intensely deep emotional bond, so deep, so intense, that it's analogous to being physically one. It's analogous to being one flesh. The husband and wife are so close emotionally that it's like they're one flesh. But as I say, that would be erroneous. If we consider the natural law understanding of marriage, it helps us to understand that what Scripture is telling us there is not that marriage is so emotionally intense that it's like a physical union. Scripture is telling us that it's a physical union, that its foundation is the biological unity made possible by the sexual reproductive complementarity of man and woman, that it's in the actual marital act, in the sexual congress of the married spouses, that they find the foundation of their comprehensive sharing of life. So I think it's important for us to understand the way that Revelation illuminates what can be known by unaided reason, but it's also important to understand how philosophical reflection, natural law thinking can also help to shed light on the correct understanding of scriptural revelation.